Welcome back to the Backside Poddy. This week's episode, the Prez is in the house and the Tour de France is only a few sleeps away.
2 gin and tonics, 2 vodkas, and a scotch.
Yes?
500 watts, please.
Now let's introduce you to the Backsiders. Nico.
G'day.
Freebs.
Howdy.
Johnny.
Howdy doody.
And Mr. Wilson.
Ooh, good evening.
How are you?
Good.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Freebs, what's been happening, mate?
Mate, that jingle still doesn't get old for me.
Never.
I still love that jingle.
Mate, you're in love with yourself, that's why.
Oh, Jesus. First I'm angry, now I'm in love with myself. It's been an interesting start to the show for me tonight. Anyway, as everyone said last week, we celebrated our first birthday last week, which was really exciting for the potty. And I think the exciting thing from that is the potty has really been, it's so much more than just about the people on the show. It's about the Brisbane cycling community. It's about the broader cycling community getting involved and, you know, hearing what's happening in the racing scene, hearing some different things about cycling. And we started a couple of years ago, Sean, myself, Jim Bob and Curto, and it's just grown and grown and grown. And to this point, we've now got so many more people listening and we've got these great guests coming on. And through that, we've identified some amazing people that are going to be sort of working with our show on a rotating sort of chair. And 2 of the guys are on the podcast tonight. So we've got Nico. For those that don't know who Nico is, it's Nick Pedler. And John Carr is Johnny. These boys are going to be sort of working in the podcast, which is super exciting into the future. And we've also got Joshy Bykoff, who's also going to be sort of utilising one of those rotating chairs, which is super exciting. With that, though, Jim Bob has decided to take a little bit of a step back. He's got so much work commitments and family commitments that this is obviously a luxury for us all to spend time together making this content. And Jim Bob's made the decision to step back a little bit from being on the show every week. He'll still come on from time to time, but Jim Bob's going to take that and spend that time where he needs to with his family and with his work commitments. So a big thank you to Jim Bob. Shawnee, you've been obviously here from the start, but
yes,
it's been awesome having Jim Bob every week, but we'll still see him, but not quite the same frequency. But it's
a sad day, but a great day.
Good bunch of lads to step in.
Absolutely. Wouldn't have it any other way. Johnny's been a saviour in previous episodes.
He has.
Oh, I've been
he loves
sneaking
it.
onto the podcast every now and then.
Yeah.
Jeez, he was excited when he found out he's on.
Oh, well, yeah, to be fair.
You should have seen his face.
Were you having a beer together, were you?
We did have a few on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we took a few away.
Red's more. But anyway, it's super exciting, but also just, you know, thanks to Jim Bob for all the commitment
Absolutely.
he's made to the show as well. So, mate, it's been a big week for me. I've been whining and dining a bit too much, working as well, and getting out on the bike a little bit more, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
So I'm happy about that. Got about 10 hours in this week.
Oof.
Managed to make it on Sunday to the Gold Coast. I rode down there, and then I went down Henry Roberts Drive, which if you haven't done that is quite the experience.
Which one's Henry Roberts?
Over the back of Tambo towards Beachmont.
Oh, yes.
It's extraordinarily steep.
It's 25%.
Yes.
And very long as well.
I did
Not
that.
just short.
I did that on the way to Nerang for Summer Series.
There you go.
Yeah, it was sketchy.
Yeah, I certainly gave the brakes sort of a good old test out, and I was hoping Joshy B was going to be here tonight to come and fix my brakes, but that's a tax for being on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, I know one of the lads cooked a front rim on the way down.
Rim brake.
Henry on rim brake carbon. Yeah, so
That'll do it.
If you cooked a disc brake, that's impressive. You must have been flying down.
Yeah. Well, he's on bloody shit SRAM, so.
Yeah. We'll get to that later. Mate, a bit of racing as well. Made it out to Muzz on Saturday. Had a roll around with the guys on Saturday.
What time did you arrive, Freebie?
About 3 minutes behind the start time.
You're joking.
Nah, missed it.
What were you doing?
Oh, just a big Friday night.
Laughing. Mate, I had a big Friday night too.
Yeah, and you weren't even there. So I was 3 minutes better than you. Or 47 to be precise. It was a good week, mate. I had a good time. Got out to Mars. It was nice.
Brilliant.
Nico?
G'day. Last week, I know it's a pretty little quiet week in winter. It's hard to get out on the bike, but still riding on cloud 9, back-to-back Muzz wins. So
what a work.
Hey,
pretty happy with that.
You got to get a wage somehow, mate.
He's a pro cyclist.
Anything for a referral.
When do you have to pay tax on this stuff?
I think it's 18,200, so that's a lot.
He's still in the counting.
That's 182 Muzz wins a year. think we're safe with 3. But really, really good little weekend crit. It was nice to have almost the full Cobra 9 podium.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I couldn't be on there, so
Yeah, start late. You don't get to be on there, but
I don't think we would have been there anyway, just quietly.
No.
So what your result was null and void?
Null and void.
Wow.
I pulled myself out before the last,
nice.
the last lap. Out of respect.
Yeah, fair enough.
Participation award.
I don't think you would have rolled Declan anyway.
Unlikely.
No.
At best.
That's that. Let's hear from Willow.
Well, the weeks are just getting busier as it gets colder. I'm out at Sandgate, so our little training group goes out a couple of times a week. We've been out, did the back of Sanford on Sunday, and after Elimba on Saturday, which was wet and cold and
out in the mountains,
dirty and miserable, and it wasn't a clean, crisp morning, but nonetheless, it was quite okay. So yeah, we're just roll around training and a club meeting, and we had a little bit of a get together for our treasurer the other night because it was his 60th birthday. So
beautiful.
Yeah, it was a quiet jar and. Go home and don't tell anyone else about it.
So I'm assuming your wife's not listening to the podcast?
Yeah, she's...
Mine doesn't. It cost me a bloody handbag most weeks.
Thanks, Kurt.
Yeah.
Could have killed him last week, mate.
He showed me the text messages.
Oh, mate. Yeah, it's classic. Anyway. Johnny.
Oh, boys. I'm like going through a bush backwards, going nowhere. It's been a really busy few weeks with with work. I got out once or twice last week. Went halfway down to Tambo with
you did.
Reeves, and then turned around and came back. Took the tailwind home.
Oh, beautiful.
But hopefully now, even though it is dark, try and get out a little bit more now through July and August. Start the build for Bros Worlds, and that's me.
How are you feeling for Bros Worlds?
I mean, very excited. Very excited. We actually need to book flights for that.
Done.
Oh, is it done?
Not well. You're doing
We're up to Derek expectation. Oh, that's great. That's one less thing I have to do.
Book your flights for you. That's great.
It's up to Kit now. What are you going to wear?
Hey, we just paid Nico as a travel agent.
So here's the thing. So I'm going through the ludicrously difficult scenario of trying to declare for another country.
Oh, you too.
So as you can hear from my accent, I am in fact from Ireland, but because my first race license was for Australia, they consider me Australian, and so I have to
You're welcome.
renounce, then go to Ireland, and then they were like, well, and once you do that, you can only change one more time after that.
Oh, wow.
So I've got to be real tactical about this because, later on when I'm Willow's age and I'm looking for the Australian Masters Championship, when I'm also retired and like really going for it. Like, see, again, I have a plan. I have a plan. First Australian, then Worlds. That's my plan when I retire.
You've got to have a plan.
So, speaking of the Irish, the Irish are in town. British Irish Lions are playing.
They are.
Oh, the British Irish. I'm very, very excited.
They towed up the WA boys.
Oh, didn't they? What?
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to go to the Reds games, but I am going to the Brisbane game.
The Wallabies.
Saturday against the Wallabies, and then also down in Melbourne.
Really?
To watch them as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So rugby is an extremely popular sport in Ireland because the Irish team are quite good as opposed to the Irish soccer team who are. I mean, like, I don't even know if there's words for the opposite of good of what they are. But they used to be great, but not anymore.
Shawnee, what's been happening in your world, mate?
Mate, I went to another boxing session in the Savo.
Oh, shit.
Yep. I'm still useless.
How those hands go, mate?
Hey?
How those hands go?
Mate, pretty slow to be honest. I'm not up to that category yet. So, but other than that,
who's that guy? Harry that went to the Olympics. Harry
Garside.
Mate, I was down at the Goldie after I rode Sunday, and I was just at the cafe, and this guy goes, "Oh yeah, my name's Harry. I'm to get my to get his latte." And I was like, "Shit, that's that Harry guy from the Olympics."
Yeah, right.
He was just cruising around.
He rides a bike.
Does he?
Yeah.
Mate,
he's good mates. He's housemates with Jackson Bennett. If you know him in bloody Sydney.
There you go. So
they get up to all sorts of mischief.
You got me excited then.
That's all good. He's a little fella.
He wasn't that big.
Yeah, he's a little fella. All boxers tend to be little. Yeah. But other than that, man, proper bender on the weekend day. Yeah. I sent myself sideways. So So
with some of these delicious beverages that we have here on the backside this afternoon.
Yes.
Giant sized taste.
Yep. So Saturday was probably the worst hangover of my life. And then I had to back it up and go to a Bucks party on Saturday too.
Oh. See, I can't do the double anymore.
Yes, you can.
Mate,
Just got to get in character.
You're an A grader, mate. You're an A grader.
You can do anything you want.
So that was my weekend, and the week that wasn't too exciting, to be honest. But I guess the main reason we're here tonight is we got Willow in the house.
The great man.
Yes.
Welcome, Willow.
Well, thank you very much for the invite. I was more than surprised, and I thought, gee, you haven't got much to talk about if I'm going to take up a little bit of the time. But no, I certainly appreciate it. I've heard lots about the poddy, and it's very well was it frequented or tuned into. So
followed.
Followed. It's good. It's good to be a part of it. Yeah. So thanks for asking us along, Phoebes. I appreciate it,
Mate. It's my pleasure. I really value the time that you spend with us, I guess, each weekend. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity for you to sort of share your story, because I think I speak for everyone here that these races that we have each week just don't happen because by chance. They happen by people like yourself and other volunteers in the club that put their time and effort into doing these events for us. And I think sometimes we forget what that actually goes into it. And I thought this is a great way to celebrate an understanding about how much effort goes in behind the scenes. So, mate, I just think on behalf of everyone, I think firstly, thank you for everything you guys do. It's a massive commitment, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks,
pleasure.
man.
Yeah. No, we've got a good little committee at Hamilton, and over the years we've worked out systems and protocols and
I love watching you unpack the car off with your systems.
yeah. Well, getting it back in.
That goes there.
Yeah,
that goes there.
yeah.
Move that there.
Well, you see, I'm the one who has to get it out, so I like to know where everything is. So but no, we're keen to provide a service. You know, we're probably philosophically. Many years ago, when I first became involved, it was a fairly insular little group. In fact, I can still recall. I think it was one of the first meetings I went to, and I'd only joined because my son was starting to ride, and I thought I'd better get him involved so he can learn how to ride, not from his old man who knows nothing.
That's obviously done well for him.
Yeah, that's right. It was the best flick I ever did. And yeah, we had like 60 members.
Wow.
Yeah, there were 60 members when I first started, and I thought, gee, this is not a bad sport. We can do a little bit better than this. But it was a fairly insular group, with respect, and fairly aged. Either they're all how old I am now. That was about everybody's age. So
Yep.
it was, it was going nowhere fast. So over time, I think we're 440, 450 now.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Members. So it's moved ahead, and that's because I think we've engaged with a number of people who'd like to who want to contribute. And the old philosophy is come in and do a job for a couple of years, make a difference, improve on what you've done, and then step out and let someone else have a crack. So.
But you haven't, though.
No. Yeah, well, I haven't taken my own advice, but I'm probably going to do that soon.
Don't say that.
Okay.
He's the glue that holds it all together.
Mate, it won't. You can't say never, but Jesus, that'd be a sad day.
Yeah, we've all got plenty to do, and it's good. I mean, as we were just talking about before, I've been retired for a long time now, so I've got time to give that other people don't.
Yeah.
And I sort of just ask for people if they're not retired and they've got an interest to kick in for a little bit and experience it. It's interesting when you talk about what makes a race happen. One of the common things, and I know Nick's been a volunteer, and people come along and they volunteer for the day, and at the end of the day, one of the common retorts is, "Gee, I never knew how this worked." And we said, "Well, look, you've done such a good job. You can come back next week."
We'll have you back.
Yeah, you'll be back. So it's what goes around comes around, and people get a better idea. We've got a compulsory volunteer program.
I think that's brilliant.
So and it's fair. You volunteer once a year, and that's it. You miss a race once a year, and or pick somewhere where you don't want to race and volunteer for that.
Or get your wife to help.
Classic.
That's the golden move. It only costs you lunch. Yeah. There are a few freebies in the club. You know that.
Oh, that's good, mate. So how long have you been with the club? Like you go back to 60 members, Dan gets involved.
Yeah,
when was this?
I joined, I think 1998. So I took over secretary at 2002, and then president 2018. So yeah, I've had a long time. But if you keep making the same mistake every time, you'll eventually forget what you've done wrong and get it right at the end. But so it's been it's been an elongated time, but been good fun.
What drives your passion to support the club still?
Well, I'm an old PE teacher, and physical activity was one of the mantras that I tried to promote endlessly, and I think that this is a great sport, good clean sport, good clean fun. If you're physically active, you're likely to be happier, and if we can make an environment that'll attract people to come and participate, be competitive, but to be competitive over the white line, and then off the white line, you just have a good time. So we've tried to promote the conviviality and socio-physical aspects of the sport. So that's probably what drives me. I mean, most of us are lifelong active people, and this way puts a bit of a framework around that activity. And it's good to see people who start out, big units and become smaller units and
go from D grade to C grade to B grade
and enjoy themselves. So that's probably the motivation. It's a good community thing to do, I think. So I think at some stage everyone should say, well, I've been a part of that. I want to help out with that. Yeah.
No, it's incredible.
You have a great passion for the club, and obviously it's grown kind of leaps and bounds. Maybe tell us about some of the things that you're really proud of that you kind of contributed to, or maybe led the charge on, that's helped Hamilton grow over these years.
Well, I think probably one of the things has been to try and cross-fertilise with members.
Is that what Cardo's doing at the moment?
Yeah. So, as I said at the start, when I joined, they were all pretty much the same age demographic, and they'd lost a lot of young people. There were I read some of the old minutes of the meetings from back in the 60s, and Jesus Christ,
back in the 60s,
they've kept them all.
Oh yeah, well they got washed out in the flood, so they've gone now. But it's
probably a good thing.
People were resigning every week, and then rejoining the week after, and it was chaos. I thought anyway, just reading it.
Seems like a toxic relationship.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's I don't know if it was power or lack of it, but yeah, just to make the environment that's been my push. Everyone's welcome.
Juniors, women.
Yep. We started. I don't know that we ever got a sufficient credit. We started the first. Well, I thought in my experience around the place of recognising women's participation. We'd have women's only days and women's tour. Or I think I'm looking back. 15 years ago we had a women's tour. And I thought. Yeah, I don't know who made up the name, but anyway, it came about. So we tried to promote that, and we still do. We've got an active women's chair now, and she does a great job, motivating the girls to do this, that, and the other. So Johnny, probably, trying to engage people so that people they look forward to coming and being active. That's probably what I've enjoyed most. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
And Willow, on building on that a little bit, obviously over that time you would have seen the ebb and flow of the volume of people racing each week or across a year or whatever it might be. What are you seeing at those peaks and troughs of the numbers of people committing each week to coming out changing? What influences that? How do we improve that? how do we get more consistency? Like, where do you think that's going?
Well, I think that's the key term, consistency. That's my belief. We try and offer a program that's varied. Time trials, crits, road races through the winter and just crits in the summer. So to try and keep it predictable, try to keep the thing well run so that riders go, well, I know if I go there, I'm going to get a fair race. It's going to be, it's going to be reasonably well organised. We have good commissaires, etc., etc. So you try to make that attractive. Why does it ebb and flow? I mean, poor old, but Balmoral. I don't mean to say poor old Balmoral, but they suffered with the track out for a bit of time. So I felt there were a lot of people dropped off the radar in that time. We picked up a lot came over to race with us, which was great, and we're open to anybody coming to race with us. We encourage everybody. So how do you make it? Like, our view is to make the thing consistent. So you come and you're going to get something reliable.
I like that.
It's going to be it's going to be a fair race. It's going to be there should be a reasonable number there. It's worthwhile coming. That's why we try and level it out. And so last year we had biggest numbers we've had for probably the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, right. Obviously, there's racing on most weekends. How do the clubs work more collectively to get that sort of more consistent approach for, I guess, the community of cycling and racing than it being domiciled to a particular club? And that's sort of maybe potentially going against what you maybe want to achieve. But I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to spread calendar a little bit more evenly across the year and really promote key races for each particular club. What's your view on that?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I've been attempting, but I haven't been able to contact with the Balmoral president. She's indicated interest in trying to level out the calendar. We had a race a couple of weeks ago, which was a women's race, there on the Cole Jackson special race for one of our deceased members, and on the same day at Muzz there was a big women's race, which was great. But it was the same darn day.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
So the communication, we're not insular, but we're probably not as engaging as we could be. That's from our side of things. And from some of the other clubs too. There's a club that races out at Nunda that doesn't allow anyone else to race. So that's probably not a great thing to have. But if there could be more engagement across that, so when it's a club race, everyone comes. Like that's our approach. But you're right, Freebs. We probably need to communicate more, and I'm looking forward to making contact with Balmoral.
Yeah, and I think if this podcast can do anything from a Brisbane voice, cycling voice, is I guess encourage that, and I think, like, I speak for us a little bit here, but I'd certainly do our part to contribute to that collaboration a bit more, because I think it helps the whole community.
Absolutely. And I think like you just said before about the women's racing, how Muzz and yourself had a race on the same day. I talked to Jess Pratt a fair bit, and she was saying they leave it up to the last sort of minute to decide which race they're going to do, depending on what start list is the best, and then they lean towards that. Doesn't matter what.
We did that last week too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what legacy the race holds, sort of thing, which is a bit of a shame. But
well, look, that was an organisational thing that we certainly weren't across.
Yeah,
and until we saw the numbers during the week, that thought, where are all the girls?
Yeah,
normally this is because it was a good prize money race. If that's important to some people, it is.
It is for Nick Pedler.
He's only
going to hit that 18,000 this year.
Get that tax break. But so the communication would have been so easy.
Yeah,
would have been so. We could have put Nicole Jackson on another week if Balmoral were wedded to that day, or vice versa. It wouldn't have mattered. But unfortunately, we picked up the ball after the halftime hooter.
Yeah.
Oh, it's food for thought. I think it's a good conversation to have.
It's unfortunate, but I'll tell you what, one cool thing I love seeing whenever I get out for like an afternoon ride, I go down and under, and it's usually on like a Thursday, and I see all the juniors getting around. geez, that's a good sight. I always see all the little wrens getting around. I've seen them grow up on a Thursday afternoon. Each week they're getting better and better, and it's good to see. And that's a testament to Hamilton for
Definitely
pushing that, because cycling's such a individual sport, and doing that really brings the team vibe of like sort of like when I grew up, I didn't cycle when I grew up, but I played rugby. And on a Thursday afternoon, it was rugby training. Mum and Dad would take me to rugby training. They'd hang around, watch, and it just taught good teamwork, good team ethics, and just good fun. And I think that's what's missing in cycling from an adult perspective, is just training in a group, doing all that. And I think that's great that you're instilling that in the kids.
We're very lucky at currently we've got a very active junior committee.
Yep.
Very active, and they've got a nice structure about what they're doing. And then we would get, a couple of years ago, we'd get 15 kids who'd turn up on a Tuesday or Thursday afternoon, and then on Saturday when it was race day, none.
Yeah, right.
And I could never work it out. But now the structure has been established now, and they're doing particular skill sets, and the coaching is, in my view, quite good.
Yep.
And they're there all the time, except for this week because it's school holidays.
Consistency, mate. Consistency.
They're there, and the parents know that it's going to be
out.
Yeah, and the kids are getting better. They're racing. The Gold Coast Junior Tour was it last weekend, the weekend before. There were 80 competitors and 19 were Hamilton kids.
That's great.
Yeah, wow.
So they were good. They're good numbers. Yeah. So well done to our junior coaches. The committee's
impressive.
Going quite well.
And mate, you've got some great races, and there's a lot of history behind a lot of your races. This weekend there's a road race, the longest one.
Yep.
Any tips on how to win that one?
I think you've got to talk to the handicapper.
I think I'm stuck. Is that
there.
you?
Yeah, I have nothing to do.
Do you want another beer?
I have nothing to do with handicapping. No, it's a great race. My view, it's our best race. It's a true road race. It's out in the open country, and when the wind picks up, it's tough, and when the wind doesn't pick up,
moment as well.
Yeah,
Big westerlies.
Yeah, well, it'll be horrific on Saturday, I think. So no, it's a good, and we've got a few of those, yeah, and some of them we've made into club only races. A lot of our membership like to think, well, if you're a member, you can only win that trophy. So that's kind of fair enough, because we engage every other week with everybody else. So we've got a few of those. So yeah, they're our trophies, so we like to do them. So I've got a big trophy there for you this week, Prebes, if you're ready for it.
I would love to get my name on that one.
Yeah.
Are you going out?
Yeah, I'm going to make the effort.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Carrying on from that, so you guys have racing at Nunda.
Yep.
Racing at Lakeside is back on the map now after a bit of a dry run.
That's
Racing
well received.
Racing at Alimba.
Yep.
And then this one's out at Wivenhoe Dam on the weekend.
Yep.
What's some of the stuff that people that maybe don't volunteer as much or aren't as across in the background wouldn't realise about how hard it is to manage 4 different racing locations year round?
Yeah, well, you've got to be active. You've got to get, the van, as we say. The van's got to be out with all the kit and volunteers. Because there's a reticence to go to Somerset Dam, because it's a long way out, and it's a 90k ride, and when you're a marshal, there's
lots to do.
There's not much to do, and unfortunately that's the way it is. So you try and make it a little bit more attractive if we can. We're screaming out for volunteers for this Saturday, I can tell you. But that's been, as I said initially, that's been our imprimatur, is to keep a variety and to keep the road races going, and they're not easy. Councils and police permits make things a little bit harder, but we've got to. Safety is the most important thing, so we've got to look after all of that kind of stuff. But we want to offer what cycling's all about. It's not just racing around a crit every Saturday.
No. The variety is great, and doing all the backwards and at Lakeside, then forwards, and then change it around. It's been awesome.
Speaking about that variety, is there ways to find new road races and different things? Like, obviously, Ping Bar's gone from a TT perspective, and you found a new place to do that, which I can't pronounce.
Woongulba.
Thank you.
Wobbly what, mate?
From a road race point of view, is there ways of finding new places? Are you looking for ideas? Like, how can we as a community help with that as well?
Well, look, if anyone's got a good road course,
It turns left.
yeah, the turn left only. Yes, they're the best ones. We're open to all of those. And once again, it just takes time because you've got to get in with the council and get all the approvals. You know, you'd think it'd be fairly easy.
Nah.
You've got 60 or 70 riders, and you're not going to take up all of the road, and it takes 3 months to get approval. So we need a window period. We've probably become a little insular in that Elimba's been, well, we can get eventually we can get permits for that, and we can do Somerset, and we can do Pine Dam's the other one. We can do those. So let's just do them really well.
Yeah, you do.
And make them attractive to riders. But certainly there's no embargo or anything on any other course. We've had a few different ones back when I first started. Crikey, we raced all over the back of Samford and through people's backyards almost. I don't know if we ever had permits for them.
You'd love them, Nico.
Bit of gravel.
Bit of gravel,
Up.
yeah.
Up and down a few jumps.
Now I have a question. Now normally when I show up to the Hamo races and Willow has a mic in his hand, I normally get the back end of it because you're such a friendly guy. So as a tumbling A grader, how do I sneak into B grade but sometimes come back to A grade? What's the tactic there for Hamo?
Entry boss, mate.
Look, it's only about money. That's all it's about.
It's good to know.
That's it, yeah.
Like the handicap.
Under the table.
What
Or
kind
volunteer
what
this weekend.
colour is there, or the right volunteer?
Yeah,
Yeah. What colour is the right one? Red one, pineapple.
Johnny,
Greenback.
A good rider like you should always be up there.
That's well said. Well, Willow, I've been mucking around with Hamos for a couple of years as an adult member. I've toyed about throwing in the towel with UQ and coming across the Hamos. Would you take me? What do I have to do to get on the team?
Be on time.
That's a good.
I might not turn a battle ass. I'll be late for Battle of Asses, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't know where you're going to go for that. Look, we've never made overtures to riders from other clubs. Well, I haven't, and I'm pretty sure I've tried to make that a clear thing. That we don't chase riders to bump up when we had elite teams. Excuse me, elite teams and stuff like that. So we advertise what we do. And if you want to be part of that, come and join and be with it. But that.
Well said, mate. Well said.
It
was more of a. I think from my perspective, having not been only been in Brisbane for like 4.5 years, you guys do it so well, and I think, and I don't mind saying this, that you're struggling a little bit with their organisation, and I'm personally drawn to the consistency that you guys create and the environment that there is, and it's making me consider my options at the moment. I really am. I think there's a lot we need to collectively do, and one of the things you can't do is just throw rocks at glass, because if you're not prepared to put your time and effort into a club and volunteer permanently, then in a position, then you shouldn't really have much to say, because you can give feedback, but you shouldn't be casting significant opinions on that. And I just personally haven't got the time to commit to a full-time role, but I just feel like you guys are doing such a great job. That's why I wanted to get you guys on here and spruik about what you guys have done, because I think it's really impressive for the community, and I think it's
thanks for that.
It really comes back to people follow leaders as well, and I think you're a great leader, and I think someone that I'd like to follow in that process. So congratulations, mate.
Oh, well, thanks very much. I appreciate it, and we appreciate it. Well, as I say, we try to engage with everybody. We'd like anyone to come along who wants to race, and we can't do everything. We can't do gravel, sorry. But, we do our road and crits and TTs and stuff. So, yeah, everyone's welcome. Happy days, and thanks very much for the kind words, and we will try and keep producing.
And for those Hamo members out, remember those volunteer spots are open for the weekend.
Yep.
Come down and claim your race day.
And go down a grade if you want to.
Well, one thing that Hamilton has produced is Harry Sweeney.
Sweet dog! Yes.
Yep, and he's lining up at the tour this weekend. Oh, it starts this weekend?
Yeah, this Saturday night.
Starts this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just around the corner. And I reckon he's in some good form, Harry.
Well, that Tour de Suisse was pretty
Yeah, his
impressive.
TT.
Yeah,
His final TT was very impressive. What did he get? Fifth? Was it fifth?
Yeah, he was out. Yeah,
Yep.
the top four stayed their place, and
Yep.
he was fifth. Yeah, he was in the hot seat for like seemingly
Yeah.
2 hours or something. So
yeah.
yeah. So no, he's a really nice young fella.
Yeah.
Really nice young fella.
Do you still stay connected with them?
Well, there's a funny thing. We were in France a couple of years ago, and we just climbed.
Ventoux.
No, in France.
That's in
What's
front.
Ventoux? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of it.
It's getting late for you, Willow.
Yeah.
Should be in bed soon, mate.
Anyway, we've got to the top of the climb, and we're stopping, waiting for a couple of other guys to come along, and these guys came from the other direction, and I hear this. Is that you, Willow? And here's Sweeney. And one of his mates, one of his pro mates, going, I thought I heard some Aussie voices, and I had my Hamilton shirt on. And so we had a yak. So who should ride up beside us? Beside him was, who's the little Tasmanian bloke?
Richie.
Yeah, Richie Port.
Oh my goodness!
And one of our guys that was with us that time had moved from Brisbane and was living in Launceston. So there was a connection between the Launceston stuff. And then
Small
a
world.
couple of other guys. So here we are with all the pros. Oh, yeah, well, we just hang out in France with the pros, yeah. So it was good. But Harry was just wonderful, and he comes every time he's back. If he's back, I give him a call, and if he's available, we get him to come along to our presentation to have a couple of words. And he and Nick Schultz, Nick's an old Hamilton boy, and when they're in town, if they're around at summer series or whatever, would you mind presenting? Yeah, not a problem. They just give their time. They're wonderful, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, really good guys. Yeah.
He's got a good YouTube channel too.
Yes.
Very, very good YouTube channel.
You on that every night, Willow?
Mostly. He gets a bit technical.
That's great.
But we do have the tour coming up.
I'm pumped.
It's 100% a French route. They're going up Ventoux.
When was the last time they just did 100% French?
I
2021, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was 2021. Yeah, so it's been a few years. So it's going to be good, and it's Durant's last tour as well. So that's going to be a sad day. Sad to see him leave the Pello. We've got a few
Plenty of Aussies, though. We've got 10 Aussies.
10 Aussies. A few Queenslanders there. Harry's one of them. Caden's the other.
I'm pretty stoked to see our boy back, though. Plappy. Always getting excited when he's on the
Aussies
start
are back.
And the Aussie Stripes, Luke Durbridge,
Yes.
he's taking it around.
Yep. He'll be driving the front of the Pello, I'd assume.
at some point.
Yep.
And then Ben O'Connor is probably the big GC hope.
Yeah.
Bit of a shaky start really this year with Jaco, but there's been some signs. He made a great breakaway at Tour de Suisse.
Yes.
A little bit of inconsistency afterwards, but we'll see how it goes. It's a really odd route. I almost call it it's almost like a Giro d'Italia style route in that it's quite heavy in climbing at the very back end.
Yes.
Whereas the front of it is, now I wouldn't go so far as it's like years ago where it was like sprint stages 101, but it's a lot of very flat, very hilly stages right up to the first rest day before you change into these monstrous hilly days.
Yeah.
And then this really strange finish where stage 20 is just a normal hilly stage. It's not like an amazing time trial or an epic mountain day, or it's just a race in the hills. There's not even crosswind affected.
Yeah.
It'll be wild.
And then stage 21. What a change up this year. We're going up Montmartre 3 times.
Yeah.
And the pros aren't happy about it.
I bet.
I don't think anyone's happy about it.
But it's a good spectacle from a spectator's point of view,
packed.
because
Rammed.
to be honest, it is a pretty boring stage 21 usually of any Grand Tour. And going up Montmartre, it's going to spice things up.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
And it was a spectacle in the Olympics. Like the crowd up the hill was amazing. And I think that's what they're going to try and reimagine this year. So fingers crossed. I dare say it will get the crowd up there. But it'll be interesting to see how the race pans out on that stage, whether or not it's a breakaway. Could be a breakaway finish and not a sprint finish for the Champs.
That
Yeah,
would
it
be a
depends on
turn for the books.
Yeah, it depends on when it breaks up.
Yeah.
We're going to see a bit of like the Giro where it changes GC lead on the last stage.
Mate,
Could all happen.
imagine.
Poggy and Jonas head to head for 3 weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
And
Carapaz won't be there, which is a bit of a shame.
he's got the bad guts.
Got the runs. See you later.
Yeah, but we've got all the big names showing up. So Tade and Jonas are coming together. Remco is going to be
Jonas
there.
straight back to altitude after.
That's right. Yeah, so they all went their
Dauphiné.
separate ways.
Yep.
So Tade went to Isla 2000, which is probably his kind of go-to place. You had Jonas at Teen. I think that Remco was there as well, but he's returned early to do the Belgian Championships, which he has to do.
Yeah,
because he's Belgian.
Which is bizarre.
Unless you're Wout van
when's
Aert,
that?
who was like,
on the weekend.
I'm a little sick. I've got the hurt knee.
Yeah, Wout van Aert.
But he'll be back. He'll be there. But yeah, I mean, like it's going to be really interesting from an overall tour point of view, even if it's going to be pretty hard at the start. So, like, Shawnee, what's your call for the jerseys? Now, let's go top to bottom, shall we?
Top to bottom.
Let's go yellow jersey. Your call yellow, then go green polka dot, and then your call for the white.
Mate, I'm going complete Smokies, hey.
All right. Who are you thinking?
So Almeida for yellow.
It's good. It's not smoky.
Oh, you know, the man
He's going to
who
sacrifice himself though. That's any problem.
He
Well,
was kind of so much the nearly man for stage races, and was kind of getting this moniker like could not finish off stage racers. The guy who could, you know, drop himself and drop the rest of them at the same time, doing a João Almeida is a
Correct.
thing. And yet this year, 3 stage races, firmly put away, looking sensational.
He's looking good. And for the polka dot,
How long will he last on that team, do you reckon? Someone's going to poach him.
it's hard
Depends on the
because
cash money.
yeah,
well.
it's all about money.
Don't
Ja-
know.
he'll come to Jaco.
That's what I was thinking. Jerry's going to open the
Jerry's
checkbook.
licking his
Mate,
mouth.
they're going to have to do
He'll be the-
something.
Oh,
He's got a caravan for him.
Yeah. Polka dots, I'm going Abrahamson.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
He's worn them before, but he's
I
never
love-
finished in them.
It'd be hard. The back end is hard,
Yeah.
but I love that. There's a
Yeah.
lot of there is like a ridiculous amount of Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 2 time.
He'd be
climbs
good at that.
in this year's tour. So maybe there's a way
Good
to really
points
wrap
early.
these up. You know,
Yeah.
Yep.
They would have studied them all.
He'll be frothing the breakaway for that first 10 days. He'll be frothing it.
green jersey.
Green jersey. Yeah. I'm not going to Smoky here. I'm going Jasper the disaster.
Oh, Jasper Disaster. Interesting.
Yep. And for white, Florian Lipowitz. Yep.
Yeah, the flaws.
On
Yep.
that green jersey, Caden's there as well, so they've got a stacked sprint roster.
Insane sprint.
Double head
roster.
attack.
Albertson's.
What a lead out. So I dare say Matthew's going to be last lead out man, and Caden's going to be second last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, come around me.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as Riesbeck doesn't get himself red carded again, like he'll be somewhere at the front just mowing through people. Yeah, Alpecin have come with a very strong team.
Yes. Absolutely. What about your picks, mate?
My picks. I mean, like, it's as easy for me. Yellow jersey, Tadej Pogacar. Every single day of the week. Green jersey, also Tadej Pogacar. Every single day of the week. Because the first 9 days are basically nice, easy, hilly races, just enough to like squeeze the sprinter's legs. And Tadej will probably win.
Which he'll do.
KOM jersey. Tadej Pogacar, because again, all the final mountain ones is going to have Tadej come straight through, and then white jersey, I guess
He
he's
can't
never
win that.
close to him. Probably Remco.
Remco.
Imagine if he got all 4.
Well, he can't.
We can't get all
No, no,
four.
but if he could,
but if
like-
this would have been the tour that I think Tadej could have had
All 4.
all 4,
Wouldn't that be?
which is insane. But if
Even
anyone
getting
could
3
have
or
done
4
it,
is mind blowing.
3 or 4, I feel like this might be one of the first times we see the green jersey and the yellow jersey same person.
Wow.
That's my
that's
call
a
for
big
the
call.
tour.
That is a big call.
Willow,
We've seen it for the KOM and the yellow, but never for the green as well.
Never.
never for the green.
No, I was with you, Johnny, except for the green.
Who's your pick for the green then?
The fellow with the big legs from the Sunshine Coast.
Hey.
Oh, yeah,
They are big legs.
boy.
Yeah, the boys.
And as he's shown in the Vuelta, extraordinarily good climber.
Yes.
Like surprisingly good for a lad who's as big as he is. I guess like it's going to be tough with Van der Poel, Philipsen and co. But you know,
Well, he's got that first week. That's the
his.
chance to. Yeah, that's how I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
give us yellow on the KOM.
Yellow today. Yeah, KOM. Taddy.
Taddy.
Yeah, as I say, I was mirroring you. Yeah. And the white, I don't care, whoever's young.
Hopefully Jackson Medway one day.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well,
That'd be
Better
nice.
hurry, be getting close to 23, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's
Jacko, no, he'd
20.
He'd be 21 on it.
Yeah. Couple of years.
Mm.
I got Pog for yellow. I'd like it to be Jonas. Pog it up. Also Pog, same as everyone else. But I do my Smokies Oscar Onnerly for that.
Yeah, good shout.
Great shout. Came in third, Tour de Suisse, has shown real bright sparks all the way through the racing period. He's good on these kind of rolly courses. He'll have full commitment from the team as well.
He will.
Really nice young fella as well. I like a good call.
Do you get UCI points for KOM jerseys or KOM points? Because Picnic need
They
UCI
do need some
points.
points.
Badly.
Yeah,
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Nick will look it up while we're talking.
yeah.
He's that resident stat man.
What about your white boy?
White, just Remco.
Yeah,
You can't go past him. Green, Milan.
that is a good shout because
Yeah.
Trek have a great
Mate,
lead out as well.
That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
It'll be Alpecin and Trek just side by side. Who's got the bigger train, and then the big dog Milan's going to come over and run. Just bang bang. That's what happened.
Bouncing his head around.
But the
Cav Collins, 17.
Cav Collins style.
Keep up.
Mate,
and then
Cav needs to get promoted to A grade, please.
yeah, Willow, while you're here, Cav Collins, A grade, please.
Oh, he's going to hate that.
He's done.
It's time.
It's time. You can't have any more wins, mate. And my Smoky, I think, like last year, Gamay's going to be there, I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That is a smoky.
Mm.
Even though he did so well last year, he's,
Yeah.
everyone's big. All the big sprinters are coming this year.
Well, that's it. That's it.
There's a bit of elevation as well. He's pretty handy.
Yeah,
to climb, isn't he?
he's smaller.
Yep.
Nico,
I've gone
what do you got for us?
fairly generic. I think Poggy for yellow. He's pretty consistent. You can't really count him out. We'll put him on the polka dots as well. I've gone white jersey. I think Remco. It's a pretty vanilla pick.
Put it down.
He's there. Maybe Carlos Rodriguez if Remco fumbles.
Yep.
I think he's pretty consistent, and I think we'd just like to see Phillipsen in the green jersey. But if he chokes, definitely our man from the sunny coast, Caden Groves, please.
Wouldn't that be a delight? But you know who?
I'm amazed nobody's picked Matthew van der Poel.
For green.
Green.
You know what I'm surprised
That's my
with?
smoky.
No one's picked Jonas. Poor Jonas
poor
hasn't been
Jonas.
selected for the yellow.
Nah.
I think when he got
he's
his
always
rear
surprised,
end
mate.
I said I'm
handed to him.
hopeful, but I won't pick him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, it's a good team, and not every as we seen a couple of years back. Tadej can't falter. People can have
Crash.
bad days, a crash, a wrong time in.
Are you betting on Primoz to make it past
I was about to
stage
say
9?
we should have bet on Primoz and make it past stage 3.
Yeah.
He could go right though if he makes it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's his last one.
I think it's his last one.
It
And I
look-
feel
it
like,
look- it
particularly
look
with
warm.
that call for Florian Lipovitz, I think he's the great young hope now for Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. And
Yeah.
it would be nice to see him. I think he's got a bit of panache, much as a panache as he can for the big donkey that he is. But it would be good to see him do well.
Actually, just see Ineos having a rebrand.
Mm.
They're going to be Ineos Grenadiers Total Energies.
There you go.
And they've dropped Castor as their clothing brand as well and
Yes.
gone to Adidas.
Yeah, this is
Wow,
wild.
that's huge.
Like I remember when before Ineos it was Sky, and Sky originally partnered with Adidas.
They did.
And I think I've even got one of those old jerseys like knocking around somewhere back when the three stripes was
That's
pretty
right,
cool.
they were, yeah. Mm.
Nice to see that back. Really interesting the partnership with Total Energies. There was a lot of rumour mill that Total Energies were going to move over, that their Pro Conti team would get dropped, but that in fact is not happening at all, and it is to do with the fact that Total Energies have a number of entities in England and France as well as global, and a bit like the Red Bull thing, that's how this has all come about. They've been able to do it where it doesn't clash with the fact that Total are full naming sponsor on one, and then they're now side sponsor on this one. And then the corporate structure is correct that the UCI allowed them, and I guess they were more than 40 centimeters wide on their hips, and so therefore allowed, along with some of the other wild UCI ban rules we've had in the last few weeks.
Johnny missed last week, mate.
Is it Alpecin, the other brand that's been around the peloton? They've been on a couple of different teams.
Couldn't tell you, mate.
Sedal.
Alpes
Sedal.
originally
Yeah.
with Giant, which is now
Sick.
Post NL, and then moved across to Alpes and Deconic, and Deconic were actually Deconic Quickstep, and then they moved across to the Alpes and Deconic team. That we're
Yeah.
now.
Women's tour?
Yeah, so the women's Giro's kicking off as well. And that's 8 stages.
Fight for pink.
And actually, it's good the UCI have actually noticed the clash, because every year it seems to clash. And moving on from next year, they're going to have a separate date to when the Tour de France is on from the men's. So I think all the women's Grand Tours are going to have sort of their own standout date instead of being mixed in with a sort of a male's Grand Tour, and doesn't get much attention then, you know, like I know the women's Giro's on, but it's sort of taken a back seat, hasn't it?
Well,
But-
Tour de France.
And
Yeah,
particularly with
exactly.
Tour de France farm following the tour anyway. Like it's a bit of a strange one.
It
You
is.
know, like ASO as the Tour de France organisers versus RCS, who are organising the Giro stages, you know, have never been the best of friends. So hopefully, like Hamilton and the other clubs can also learn from this, you know, as we take back to the early conversation.
There's corporate messages to be made. Yes.
But I know in the Giro, I am looking forward to Lorena Vibas just absolutely pantsing everybody in the sprint. She's just an incredible athlete at the moment. Arguably maybe the best sprinter on the planet
Yeah.
at the moment, based on current
I
form.
can't remember the last one she lost.
I don't think
Yeah.
she has lost.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
But you got Lottie Kopecky there. She could pull something out of her hat.
I think so. Look, she was very good. I think she won the Belgian national time trial for the 19th time in a row. Exacerbate now, but also a really good run in the road race. Marked out of it really quite heavily. You can't go past her. Like,
Yeah.
you know, all of the top tier in the women's league are quite finely balanced. So I think this will actually be a very interesting fight for pink.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Longo Borghini, hometown hero. Can she repeat her success of last year? Who knows? Fingers crossed for the Italians. They'd get around that.
Oh, absolutely. I think she's back in the Tricolore as well, also for like the 19th time in a row. So, yeah, the great hope for Italy.
Speaking about Italy, just veering off from the women's tour, we've had a few local fellas racing over in Italy, and they've transferred over to the land of the big men, over to Belgium, and that's Tommy Waits and Alex Carrel. And Tommy Waits is actually doing really well over there at the moment. He's getting some good podium results, and hopefully making a name for himself, I reckon, over there. So watch that space. It's exciting to see. But locally, what racing do we have this weekend for Ebbs?
This weekend, the usual Friday night, I'm sure, at Ipswich. This week we've also got Muzz U-Reverse.
U-Reverse.
You reverse. Get your bike on and bike off, and you reverse.
Oh, mate, it's getting late.
And that starts at 6:45, Freebie.
Yeah, apparently. But I'm going to take the sleep in, and I'm going to Frankie Plapp. So
Yeah.
that's a midday start.
That's a
And I'm
midday
like,
start.
Oh,
mate,
nice.
that's a big Friday night.
That's it.
yeah.
Like, that's a
is
lot coming
great
from Breve
news.
as well.
This is great news. That's pretty much
You
what
can
got me
send
across
it.
the line.
You know what you should do is ride up over Glorious to get there.
I was going to say, is it possible to do a double header?
Well,
Guys in the morning,
most-
jump
most-
in the car.
No,
get
keep
out.
riding over.
Most
riding.
definitely. Well, you need the money, so why not?
It's all available.
What's the prize money, Willow?
Oh, gee, it's generally dependent on
The prize pool.
on the pool is on the number of competitors. So if we get 60, you'd probably get maybe $100 to win.
Ooh,
Something like
That's
that.
groceries,
Yeah.
that'll do.
that's
Yeah.
groceries for the
Brilliant.
week. And
Hopefully.
Sunday, there's the new cert Enduro.
No Enduro.
Benny Moriarty's heading out there. I was speaking to him today. He's going to hit the gravel.
Of course he is. He loves the gravel.
He froths it.
He loves the dirt track.
Yeah, he does.
Alex be out there as well?
Possibly.
I don't think so. He's flying back from Darwin on Friday, I think. So
He'll be there.
he'll be there.
Yeah, I guess a day rest in between.
Yeah. Has Amber picked up a Chanel pillowcase thingy bob that Kurt sold her last week.
That was an actual handbag, mate. Do you know how much a Chanel handbag costs? Unless if anyone's over in Thailand at the moment, if you can swing past and grab me one, that'd be sick.
Has she got that all packed and ready for Bundy, mate?
Oh, I was only talking to her about today. We got to get the accommodation sorted. So,
Yeah.
going to jump in the car first thing Friday and head to Bundy. I'm gonna do it, Willow.
Yeah, good man.
Going to give it a crack.
Good.
Might be one of one on the start line.
Isn't it looking juicy at the moment?
I haven't looked, to be honest, but I'm sure it's normally pretty light on.
You doing
Yeah.
the elite or you doing the masters?
Oh, I think I'll do elite.
Ooh.
I think.
You should.
Why not? You might jag the win.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. Elite stayed road champ at 40.
41 and a half.
A mere pup.
Yeah, you hang that on that goes above your Masters national champ, surely.
Nah, only Benny Carmen would probably put that above it.
Oh, yeah, there's Benny heading up.
No, just
Yeah.
stirring the guy up.
Bloody on the mountain this week, Matson's back in Australia.
Oh, he's hitting.
Yeah.
Yep, he's done a 721, 437 watts. Thanks for coming. And the hammer's back up there too, smacking out. I'll tell you what, he's in some good form. James Hammond.
He's fine, mate.
He's
one to watch.
740 for 448 watts.
But what about the Ducks?
These are big numbers. aren't
Ducks is 100 watts less.
Yeah,
they? Yeah, but
6
Ducks
seconds.
is
Well,
lean
that-
as, always in the black skin suit.
Always.
Just making sure those times count. Every single
Exactly.
climb
And
count.
no
Okay.
water bottles, error
Never
helmet.
seen water in his bottles. He always empty.
This is serious.
I want to get him out to a couple of crits. It'd be sick.
That'd be a delight.
I'm gonna make him. I'm gonna public announcement here. Just publicly shame him.
Yep, get him to a Masters crit or something.
Come on.
I reckon he'd go all right too.
Yeah, he'd love it.
He'd go all right.
Have his aero kit on.
And in the women, we had Anna Haddon, 937. That's moving.
That is moving.
And Kat Crosh, she's made the top 3 this week with an 1146, and Sarah Bryden, 1155. So
And 432 on the mountain. That's not bad.
it's not bad considering we're in the middle of winter.
It's pretty dark out there in the mornings.
It's pretty dark, and mate, it could be 433, but I'm just too much of a pussycat.
Spoken like a professional.
Yep. So I reckon that's about it this week. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah, I had a nice chat. Thanks, Willow, for coming on, mate.
Yeah.
Hey, a pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
Really appreciate
Good to
you
have a
coming
chat and be part of the move that's getting Brisbane cycling moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No good. All right. We'll see you next week, eh?
All right.
Yes.
Bye.
500 watts, please.